What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 6 of the PLC podcast. We got a fun one today. The Slammies are coming up, so we felt like it would be pretty fun to just quickly go through each of what we picked for each category. And yeah, we feel like it's going to be a great topic to talk about, more of a loose topic to talk about. So the first one that the category is female superstar of the year. There's a lot of good choices. I was between Tiffany Stratton personally and Chelsea Green, but I ended up going with Tiffany just because Chelsea Green kind of just picked up steam more once she won the United States title. And Tiffany's been doing a lot of good things this year. She started out with the Nia Jax feud, won Money in the Bank, and now it's been the world champion for a little bit now. I've enjoyed what she's done. She's still very young, so still could even get better. The only thing I would say she has to improve on is just her promo skills, which I don't even think are that bad. What's really good is she's finally a face. Everyone can cheer her, and she can be behind it. She's got good crowd reactions. Her catchphrase is really popular right now, and I hope she wins the WrestleMania because I'll just seal her year as like one of the best ones. I know she's in the breakout category, which we will talk about later. But yeah, I think Tiffany Stratton has a really, really bright future, and I was really happy with what she did this year. And I think she's got one of the better moonsaults in wrestling. And I love her finisher. But yeah, I picked Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, I like that pick, but my pick would have to be Liv Morgan for the Women's Superstar of the Year. Um, I really don't think this is close, to be honest. She had an excellent feud with Rhea Ripley. She took out Rhea Ripley for months. Uh, had a good feud with Becky Lynch. Won the world title off of Becky Lynch. And then obviously the whole storyline with Dom. Trying to get you know him to go to her and turn on Rhea. And then we had the build of it was great, and then we had it actually happening at SummerSlam, which is crazy. That had so many views on YouTube and throughout social media when that happened. Um, we'll talk about later. That should have been on the OMG moment of the year. I don't know why that wasn't there, but we'll get to that. But she had a great feud with Rhea Ripley, and I think her title reign was over 220 days or something. Um, I thought it was a good title reign. She definitely had a little more feuds in there. But then when she lost the title, she was even better somehow. I thought when she lost the title, she was going to be off TV for a while, take a break, uh, maybe even past WrestleMania. I don't know when she lost to Rhea Ripley, but she didn't. Uh, and then her and Raquel got inserted in the tag division. They put on literally one of the best matches of the year against Naomi and Bianca. I don't know if you guys remember that match on Raw for the titles when they won the titles. That was such a good match. So many false finishes. But she's just been so good. Even like not as a champion, she's just been amazing. And now she is a champion again as a tag team champion. Um, I just think that she's been excellent all year. No matter what, if she's the world title, if she's a tag champion, if she's not a champion, she's just been so good for through whatever they put her in. Um, she's done a great job with it, and yeah, she's my pick for the superstar of the year.
Yeah, no, I think that's a pretty good pick. I see what you're saying. My female superstar of the year is Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley, I just think is somebody who, there's people who don't really watch wrestling that know who Rhea Ripley is. I just think she is a superstar. She's just a star. To think of the women's division, you think of Rhea Ripley, just the way like she presents herself and everything. Like there's not a lot of people in the women's division that like scream superstar and main event draw. Rhea Ripley is one. Like she's not main eventing WrestleMania, but like that's something that I feel like could happen. Um, every I'm doing this upcoming WrestleMania. So at WrestleMania, beat Becky Lynch, had the belt, went away for a little bit because she was injured, came back, had that big feud with Liv Morgan, um, and yeah, beat her in the first episode of Raw on Netflix. So yeah, I think Rhea Ripley is really good in the ring, really good character, and I had a really good year. So she's my pick for female superstar of the year.
Yep. So the next one is obviously male superstar of the year. There's obviously I feel like this is one of the more contested ones. There's names like Cody, Roman, Gunther, Punk. The only outlier I would say is Damian Priest. I don't know if he really deserves to be there. Still had a good year, but and another three are Drew McIntyre, Uso, and Seth Rollins. I can't really hate if you go with any other ones, but I feel like for me, I feel like one of us is probably going to agree on this at least, or both of us maybe. Well, but CM Punk, I mean, I still know people that don't watch the whole show but only watch what Punk's done. I mean, he started out the year a little injured, so that made some people choose why not to be on it. But once he's come back, I mean, he had those matches with Drew, the Hell in a Cell. We will talk about later. Hint, that's a little teaser for later on. But that was an amazing match. And then recently, he had those matches with Seth, which I really liked with the steel cage. Also, his promos. I mean, I don't think he's really had a bad match, even like slightly below average match. I think they've all been top tier matches. I mean, maybe it's because I'm older now, but I think I'm more invested to this Punk's character because you can relate to him more. You're always somewhat scared that he might actually get injured again, and like he just has that real feeling with him. But yeah, and I think he's gonna finish his year out great with this triple threat that hopefully he wins, and then I can't wait to see what he does after that. And it looks like he's having the time of his life, which for his sake, it's always great to see. It looks like he's getting the respect he finally deserves, and he's just really enjoying himself. So for mine, I picked CM Punk.
Yeah, I had a tough time between him and the person I'm gonna pick. And the person that I think is the male superstar of the year is Drew McIntyre. Talk about a guy that is a top 2 mic worker in the business. I think it's him and Punk that are 1 and 2, undisputed. Um, any feud you put him in, and we're seeing this now with Damian Priest, he can make it interesting. He's just so good at doing that. And his feud with Seth Rollins last year going to WrestleMania, the WrestleMania match itself was great. And then him getting cashed in on, leading to him, going rogue, blaming CM Punk for all this. And then, led to that match against Damian Priest at Clash of the Castle where he was screwed over by Punk. And he went even more rogue. And then at Money in the Bank, you had the match between Rollins and Priest, and then Drew McIntyre trying to cash in. He was costing, like, he kept getting better every time he lost, which a lot of people can't do. He got better and more interested every time he lost a match in this year. He did such a good job of that. And then we had the trilogy between him and Punk, which was the feud of the year, which we'll get to, was so good between them two. They just, every time they were out there together, they killed it. And usually, with trilogies, depending on who they are, it can tend to drag. We kind of saw it with Liv and Rhea. Their storyline really dragged, but this is a storyline that did not drag at all. Every time they were out there together, it got more interesting, more interesting. They included new things like the bracelet, just little stuff like that. Just a great feud overall. I know Drew lost the feud, but he was the MVP of the year. He didn't take any breaks really, other than that like couple week hiatus when they returned to take out Sami Zayn or whatever. But such a good year for Drew, and like going into this year's WrestleMania, we all hoped he would have a bigger match than Damian Priest, but he is making the best of this Damian Priest feud, like I just mentioned. So yeah, credit to Drew. I think he was the best male superstar this year for sure.
Yeah, no, I think that's a pretty good choice. I am going to choose CM Punk. It is no secret that CM Punk is my favorite wrestler, but that's not the only reason why I'm choosing him. He's a guy who only had a few matches in the last year, we'll say. Got hurt at the Rumble, then he came back at SummerSlam, had the really good rivalry with Drew McIntyre. Every single match was good. Every single match was different than the last one. Yeah, their SummerSlam match I thought was really good. Their match at Bash in Berlin I thought was really good, and then the Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood I just thought was really good. I think that match should have main evented, but yeah, no, he's just been very interesting with the Drew McIntyre stuff, with the Seth Rollins stuff. Now with the Seth Rollins Roman Reigns stuff, that rivalry. Everything he's doing is just super interesting. Like Jake said, there's people that don't really watch wrestling. They don't watch the whole shows, but they watch what CM Punk does because of how interesting he is and because he's believable. I agree with Jake where when I watch CM Punk wrestle, I get worried that he's about to get hurt. Like there's just like that real aspect of it. And yeah, even though he only wrestles a few times a year, even though he's not wrestling every single week, I still think he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. And I do, and And I'm excited to see what he's going to do at WrestleMania, past WrestleMania. I do think at some point in 2025 he will be the WWE champion or the World Heavyweight champion, and that's why he's my pick for the Superstar of the Year.
So the next one is most memorable entrance. This one's probably be a little quicker than the other ones. There's really only two that I feel that I was thinking about. One of them that I did not go with, unfortunately, is Randy Orton at WWE Bash in Berlin. Just to see them singing a song, I mean, you can't really. I've gone back and just watched it just because it just feels like he realizes that they finally realize how much work he's put in over the years. He's never really taken a break. But my pick, we were there, Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. I mean, it was a build up for years. You could honestly say for years, but Cody really dedicated himself to rebuild himself to become a main eventer. Finally, he got the people behind him. He lost a year beforehand at WrestleMania, and yeah, I mean, you could see it on his face. He was so excited do to be in the main event and go up against Roman. And everyone was, even though we felt like he was going to win, everyone still had the nerves that he was still going to lose to Roman. She just didn't know. And he seemed so excited. He came out with that skull mask on. His wife Brandy was there, which I think had a good touch. It made it like feel more personal. But yeah, I think that's the best entrance of the year just because of I'm not trying to be ironic, but the story behind it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also think that Cody Rhodes' entrance at WrestleMania is the entrance of the year, without a doubt. I think us being there played a huge factor in that being my pick. You could just feel chills during that entrance, like him losing the year before, going into this match, this being his last opportunity at the WWE Championship, his last opportunity to beat Roman Reigns. Um, it was just awesome. And then, like you said, with Brandy being by his side, she got a huge pop from the crowd. The school mask he was wearing, that was cool. It was just really awesome to see him go down that ramp. Definitely emotional for him and for everyone in the crowd. Um, just for him to be able to experience that and then eventually fulfill his dream of finishing his story and becoming WWE champion. Just so much played into it. And I definitely agree with you. That is the entrance of the year.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be boring and say the same thing that y'all have said. Cody Rhodes' entrance at WrestleMania. I'm not really going to go too much detail just because you've said everything. Just what it meant, the hype around it. Like we were all there. We wanted Cody to win so bad, and he did. And just the story behind it, everything that went into that. It felt like everything Cody did for his whole career, being in WWE, leaving WWE, going to AEW, starting up AEW, leaving. It just felt like everything was leading to that moment. So yeah, that's my entrance of the year.
I feel like this next one we might agree on too. It's OMG moment of the year. I won't go into too much detail because I feel like at least one of you guys will agree with me. But it has to be John Cena turning heel on Cody Rhodes at WWE Elimination Chamber. I mean, it was the most expected but unexpected at the same time thing that ever happened. We thought he was just going to take it safe and enjoy the moment. Obviously not. And yeah, even his face, everything. It was one of the most shocking moments I've ever seen, and I've ever seen this take over social media. People that weren't even paying attention to wrestling were reacting to it and having to watch on Raw or when Cena finally popped back up to see what he was going to say. But yeah, I think that's the most OMG moment of the year.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one as well. I also think that John Cena turning heel at the Chamber was the OMG moment of the year. I think the last time that I was that surprised by a heel turn or just anything happening in WWE was back when Seth Rollins turned on the Shield, um, when he put the chair to Roman Reigns' back and joined the Authority with Triple H. This was just crazy and really out of the blue. I know a few people were like, "Oh, this could happen," but no one really thought it was going to happen. I think there was more people thinking CM Punk was going to do it rather than John Cena, or just Cody Rhodes himself. But it was just crazy to see his facial expressions change during that hug. You see The Rock with the gesture slitting his throat, signaling that he wants John Cena to take out Cody Rhodes. It was just crazy to see that. I was in shock. I didn't even say a word. Me video together, or the match together. Sorry, I'll edit this out. I'll edit this out. But it was just a crazy moment to experience. But yeah, definitely agree with you. I think this is the OMG moment of the year.
Yeah. So I do think that was a big OMG moment of the year. However, I'm not trying to have all three of us say the same thing. So I'm going to say the Wyatt Six debut. Even though they have completely fumbled everything that has happened afterwards, I think that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen on a WWE show. With just the way the debut was done, the entrance, Chad Gable getting shot in the fucking head, just everything that went into it, I thought was really cool. So that's my OMG moment of the year.
Nice. So the next one's faction of the year. This one's a little shorter category. It's the OG Bloodline, the Judgment Day, the New Bloodline, American Made, and Damage Control. I still think it's the OG Bloodline. I mean, it was probably the most interesting story I've seen in a while. It's definitely not the New Bloodline. I think Ep.5 is going to be amazing. I really wasn't interested. And I think the match with the OG Bloodline and the New Bloodline was really good. And it was interesting to see the fallout at first, but as the New Bloodline took over and the OG Bloodline kind of ended, I kind of just lost interest in the New Bloodline, even though I think there's a few pieces in there that will be really great. But yeah, for me, it's still the OG Bloodline.
Yeah, another one I'm going to agree on. My faction of the year is also the OG Bloodline. Now, I know this was short-lived, so a lot of people aren't going to like that, probably, because it was only a couple of months, leading to one match at Survivor Series, or two matches, actually, at Crown Jewel as well. But it was the most compelling one. Like, wasn't really interested too much in the New Bloodline as well. They did get better over time, but a few of those other groups you named just don't scream interesting. But the whole storyline of Jay coming back to Roman, Jay going back to Jimmy, like Jimmy and Jay reuniting to get on the same page, and then Jay telling Roman they want to be on the, they're on the same level now, so he needs to be treated equally. And then Sami Zayn coming back as well. I mean, just them coming back together as a whole was just so cool to see, like the build week after week after week. And then just like the ultimate moment of them all holding the ones in the sky. I just thought you couldn't beat that. And then they go into War Games and they win their War Games match. Sucks we haven't really seen anything with the OG Bloodline since then. But definitely my pick for Group of the Year.
Yeah, no, another one that we're all going to agree with. The OG Bloodline's also my pick for Faction of the Year, even though it was short-lived. I do think the story was good. Personally, I think, and I've kind of alluded to this before, I think that the original plan was to have the Bloodline Civil War thing culminate at WrestleMania with either Roman Reigns versus The Rock or The Rock in some way. I feel like The Rock not wrestling at WrestleMania was kind of a curveball, and I do think, though it's cool, I do think Roman Reigns versus Rollins versus Punk wasn't the original plan. I do think that that War Games is going to have a direct effect on WrestleMania. That being said, though, the storyline was really interesting to me, and I do think that the OG Bloodline was the faction of the year.
Nice. So the next one is Tag Team of the Year. This one I feel like is more opinion based. I don't think there's one specific one that screams out. And I don't think they're the best tag team or the most successful, but like every time they came on, I thought they were funny. This one might be the hottest take for me, but A-Town Down Under, I'm just going to say, because I found them all Austin Theory and Grayson Waller just entertaining. I'm really glad. I know we just got squashed recently, and that wasn't fun. But I think Austin Theory, people are starting to come around on him. I mean, if you look at his social media posts, people are always cheering for him or like in the comments or excited to see him. And he seems like really just like a relaxed, calm, chill guy. That's just, I feel like now that he's built up his work and just, I feel like he can be a face. And Grayson Waller is always funny. He never breaks character off screen. But the few times he has, I feel like he also is a pretty chill guy. And I think they're just two likable people in the tag team. And I forget how long it's been now. They've actually been a tag team for a decent amount of time. I think they're going to break up probably sooner than later. But yeah, just for me, I know it's a little unique one, but I just did it A-Town Down Under just because I like them both.
So my tag team of the year for the Slammy Awards is going to be DIY. I really like DIY. I like Ciampa and Gargano. They were great as a tag team. Though a lot of people were expecting Ciampa to turn on him at some point this year, I don't see the rush for that at all. They can wait to do that. Like the tag division needs them like desperately. They need talent, and those two work together so well. We saw them win the tag titles for the first time. They had that cool callback to NXT when they beat Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. So that was really cool. So we saw that as baby faces. Uh, had a good feud with the Bloodline, and then they would eventually, when they lost the titles, they would turn heel. So you got to see babyface and heel versions of DIY in the same year, and then them as a heel win the tag titles as well. And that whole interesting storyline of like Johnny Gargano being friends with Alex Shelley, and how that played out was really cool. So I do think it's DIY that is the tag team of the year. I just generally think they're the best tag team. They put on the best matches, and I think they've had the most compelling storylines throughout the year as far as any tag team.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with DIY. I've been a very big fan of this tag team for a very long time, since I first saw them in NXT. And now I just think whoever you put them in the ring with, they're going to have a great match. And yeah, I did think that they were going to break up and kind of do what they did in NXT with Ciampa turning on Gargano. But I think it's cool just to keep them together and I'll just have them, be one of the best tag teams in the world, which is what they're doing right now. So yeah, they're also my pick for tag team of the year.
So the next one, rivalry of the year. There's been a lot of good ones this year, which is always good to hear. But for me, it's still CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. They put on all three of the matches, were top tier. You could put an argument to all three were one of the better matches of the year, and one probably will be in the top three. Even the storylines, you were really behind it. It was really entertaining. At times, you felt like they really did hated each other. Even though I felt like the bracelet thing kind of dragged on. The segments of them beating each other up, the stories behind it, them bringing personal stuff into it. Even still to this day, when they interact or get brought up, they still act like they hate each other and can't stand each other. And it was just shows that Drew's top tier and Punk still has it. So I think they both needed each other at a good time. I think it's one of the best storylines of the decade so far. And yeah, so that's my pick for rivalry of the year.
Yeah, I also agree. I think that CM Punk and Drew McIntyre had the feud of the year, rivalry of the year, whatever you want to say, without a doubt. Dating back to before the Royal Rumble, when they had their first interaction, Drew saying, he's the Punk's leader now, injuring him in the Royal Rumble, tearing his tricep, and then gloating about it. The next episode of Monday Night Raw, he beat up Punk while he was injured with a brace on his arm. So that really kickstarted that feud. And then all the promos that they had were just excellent. Like there was not one bad promo between the two of them. And Drew held his own against one of the best to ever hold a microphone in CM Punk, and that just proves how good Drew is and why I picked him for my superstar of the year. But yeah, the bracelet being involved. At times, the bracelet felt more important than the actual championship. So that just goes to show like how good this feud was between these two guys. And then all three of their matches were excellent. SummerSlam was a great, in-ring singles return for CM Punk. And then, Seth Rollins being the special guest referee, Drew McIntyre winning. Continuing that feud to Bash in Berlin, where they had an awesome strap match. And then obviously culminating in that trilogy that was Hell in a Cell between the two of them. And what a match that was. I mean, top two match of the year, arguably the match of the year. Just such good storytelling in that match. How CM Punk said Drew McIntyre was going to be, bleeding on his knees and begging for CM Punk to stop. And, they actually did that within the match. I thought that was cool. And then you had CM Punk pull the beads out of the bag and stuff them down Drew's throat. And then that missed Claymore from Drew, his back hitting the steel steps. That was an awesome moment. And then Punk ultimately getting the win. It was just a great feud. It never got dry to me, really. For as long as it was damn near a year, and they continued to do their best work with each other. So without a doubt, that's my feud of the year.
Yeah, my feud of the year is actually The Miz and R-Truth. No, I'm joking. It's CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. What is so beautiful about this rivalry is that it was organic. The original plan was to have Punk and Rollins feud, but then Drew injured Punk. They kept Punk around, had him just fuck over Drew until he was healthy again. Then when he was healthy, they had the SummerSlam match, and then the Bash in Berlin match, and then the Bad Blood match, and Hell in a Cell. All three matches were great. All three matches were different. I think this was a good example of organic storytelling, using real life. The injury obviously wasn't planned, and I just think it was always interesting. And even now, even though the feud is over, they still go back to it sometimes. With them both being in the Rumble and stuff like that. So, yeah, I just thought it was a really good rivalry.
So the next one's NXT Superstar of the Year. I will say I don't watch too much NXT. I do watch the highlights of it or like when a big event's going on. So I'll take that with a grain of salt. But I would probably go Trick Williams for me. I mean, this has nothing to do with him. His theme song's really catchy. Every time he comes out, everyone screams Trick. He puts on great matches. I mean, you can believe him. And I hate to keep it short, but hopefully when he comes up to the main roster, which I don't feel like you have to rush. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he does. His future is bright, and I think Shawn Michaels just continues to do a great job creating talent, finding talent, helping talent find their way. And yeah, my pick's Trick Williams.
Like that. My NXT Superstar of the Year has to be Roxanne Perez. She just had an incredible year as NXT champion. Banger match after banger match. She is a great wrestler. I think she's only 22 years old, so the future is so bright for her. And she was recently in the Elimination Chamber as well. And the Royal Rumble, she was top 2 in the Royal Rumble. The final 2 with Charlotte Flair. She was the Iron Woman of that match. And like I said, she just had great feuds with NXT. I think her promo skills have improved heavily over the past year as well. And then just her being on the main roster as young as she is crazy. And I really do think that Shawn Michaels just does such an excellent job of booking the women's roster in NXT way better than he does the men's division. And she is a great example of that. She is booked excellent by Shawn Michaels. And definitely my pick.
Yeah, so I don't watch a ton of NXT, but my pick is going to be Trick Williams. Anytime I do see NXT, I'm really a big fan of Trick. Definitely he's very entertaining, very popular, and I'm very excited I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm very excited to see him eventually be on the main roster. I think he'll be able to do some big things.
The next one's one of the bigger ones, match of the year. There's a few heavy hitters. I mean, there's Roman, Cody at Mania, Punk, McIntyre at Hell in a Cell. I mean, where's the other one that was out? Gunther and Randy at Bash in Berlin. Those are the ones I was looking at. I mean, it might be biased because I was there, but Cody Roman, still just the excitement. Felt like the end games was happening to everyone, and the mother came out. We even got Undertaker, which was my first time that I saw his entrance, and that was one of the few times I ever fully got chills and wasn't expecting it. I know some people were disappointed that Austin Stone Cold didn't come out, but it didn't really mind me. I mean, either way, I think it was a great. It really did. It was one of the few times it felt like WWE's season ended, if that made sense. It felt like an end of a series, end of a show. You were excited to see what happened. Everyone was behind Cody. I know there's a few Roman fans and still are, but it was Roman's time to end it. You were gonna have to end it eventually. You can't. Nothing's forever, and I think Cody deserved it. Great match, great story, and what a finish to Mania that year.
Yeah, I definitely agree. My match of the year is also Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 40, without a doubt. I mean, WrestleMania, had some great matches, but this was obviously the best match on the card without a doubt, as it's expected to be, as the main event of night 2, and really just a 2-year storyline between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, building up to this. Cody losing the year prior, and then those many interactions on the way. Cody winning back-to-back Royal Rumbles, dealing with The Rock and all that. It being Bloodline rules, and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns had a great match before any interference. I want to point that out. They were having a great match, and then obviously you had John Cena come out, which was crazy, got a crazy reaction. You had Seth Rollins come out, the Shield music, the Shield vest, and then the crazy Undertaker doll that got everybody out of their seats. Everyone was like, "What the hell is going on?" So just crazy match, a great match with a lot of crazy run-ins happening. Then Cody Rhodes ultimately finishing his story after a long time coming, ending the historic 1,316-day title reign of Roman Reigns to become champion. Just had that awesome moment in the ring with his family and all the WWE superstars. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, I also think that Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania was the match of the year. The three of us were there. Just the atmosphere in the stadium was just electric. Everyone wanted Cody. Well, not everyone, but most people wanted Cody to win. That happened with John Cena coming out, The Undertaker coming out, The Rock. Like, it was just really good match. Very different to I feel like what we're used to, and overall, it was just very exciting. Just one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. Definitely the greatest match I've ever seen in person, and yeah, just the story and everything leading up to it is just what it meant. Yeah, no, Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania 40 is definitely my match of the year.
Yeah, those people next to us did not want Cody to win.
So next one's the WTF moment of the year. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet because Peter did a good job when we talked about it earlier. Mine's the Wyatt Six debut. It was very different. Even you knew it was gonna be creepy, but you never thought it would end like that. Unfortunately, injuries and just inconsistent booking has kind of slowed them down a little bit. I think it is gonna help that the rumor if Alexa Bliss joins them, that's gonna really help. But yeah, it was insane. Their debut, they had everyone taken out backstage. And for, like Peter said, Chad Gable looked like you thought he was completely done. And then they just end it on nothing, like just them. They didn't say a word. They didn't do anything. They stood there and ended it. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. But that's my pick for the WTF moment of the year.
Yeah. I agree with you. I do wish that Dom and Liv's kiss at SummerSlam was on here because that would have been my pick. I don't really like these options, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'll agree with you. I think the Wide Six is the WTF moment of the year. Uh, it was just like a crazy feeling when you heard like the music and then the lights go out. Everybody was going crazy in the crowd for it. And then just like the cinematic shot of them going to every character within the Wide Six, and you see Chad Gable with looking like he got shot in the head, and then you finally get the big reveal of Uncle Howdy, which is Bo Dallas. That got a huge reaction, and then them all standing together at the end of Monday Night Raw, and then blows out the letter and says we're here. It was really cool. It sucks that they haven't really done too much of anything since then, but definitely my WTF moment of the year.
Yeah, so I don't like the options that are provided here, so I'm gonna break the rules a little bit, and I'm gonna say a moment that's not on this list. It is The Rock telling Cody that I want your soul, because what the fuck was going on with that? That was over a month ago now. We still don't really know what was going on with that. What that actually meant, to be honest, we still don't really know. It was just really weird. I had The Rock coming out like he was P Diddy, and it was just really weird, and it was just what the fuck. So yeah.
So the next one, second to last, is Social Star of the Year. As much as I'm a fan of Chelsea Green, it's between Chelsea Green and Drew McIntyre, and I'm not going to say too much because I mean it talks for itself. But it is Drew McIntyre. I mean, every time you go on social media, he's posting something, he's making fun of something. He knows what's going on, even in not wrestling situation. Everyone follows, or just every time they see Drew McIntyre's post it, they're really excited to see what he's done, either if he's serious or funny or just something small. Yeah, it is Drew. I mean, most of what carried him through Punk's feud and just made him a bigger draw is his social media work, which is something that is good to see that WWE and superstars are allowed to be more free on there and voice their opinions. But yeah, I don't think it's close as much as I think Chelsea Green's entertaining and funny. I think it's Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I agree with you on this one as well. I do think Drew McIntyre is the social star of the year. I follow him on Twitter. I see his Twitter post daily. He's just hilarious. The stuff he tweets about whoever he's feuding with, whether it was CM Punk or right now Damian Priest, calling him the Timu Undertaker. even mentioned like the real glass stuff on Twitter. Like everything he posts is just hilarious. And then if you guys remember at WrestleMania mid match with Seth Rollins, he took his phone from his wife and he tweeted "bored at work, LOL." Like he's comedy when it comes to social media. So definitely agree with you. I think that he's a social media star of the year.
Yes, so I don't have Twitter, but I see just like Instagram post or whatever of things that Drew McIntyre says, and it's fucking hilarious. So yeah, no, he's my choice for the social star of the year as well. He's just funny. The things he says. I remember he posted a picture of him and Jack Perry, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Just like everything he does is really funny. So yeah, he's my social star of the year as well.
Yeah, so the final one for the Slammies is Breakout Superstar of the Year. There's a few options, and I'm just going to go with Chelsea Green because I didn't pick her for Social Star of the Year, and I think it was Female Superstar of the Year. I think she's very entertaining. I mean, everyone's trying to recruit. I see all over social media everyone walking up to her and going like this to recruit. Pledge or police. I'm forgetting the word right now, but
Allegiance.
yeah, thank you, saved me. But she's funny. I love what she's doing on TV. I really thought it was entertaining when she came out as Mick Foley with the whole outfit and everything. I thought it was really a great nod to a legend. Even when she's being sarcastic or just trying to be funny or serious, you can always find a way to like smile or laugh. She's just funny. And yeah, I think I don't know when she'll probably drop it soon, but I even think her in ring's pretty decent too. She knows how to put on a pretty good match. And yeah, I know beforehand no one really took her too seriously. Like everyone just thought she would always lose. But I think Triple H did a good job building her up. And I'm really excited for what she's going to do in the future because I think whatever she really does, she turns into gold. And she's also good all over social media as well.
Yeah. My breakout superstar of the year has to be Braun Breaker. What a year for Braun. When he debuted on the main roster, they had those squash matches with just those random superstars. Who knows? Might be future world champions. We don't know. But ultimately led to him going rogue and his heel turn and then destroying Ilya Dragunov and Ricochet. That was really the start of Braun Breaker on the main roster when he was just messing up those two guys. He ultimately wrote off Ricochet off WWE TV. So there's that. And then instantly got put into the IC title mix and had two matches with Sami Zayn at Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. Won the match at SummerSlam pretty fast. It was a very quick match. So I don't know if I would say it was a squash match, but it was kind of close to that. But he always puts on great matches. He's an entertaining young star. I like him as a heel, but he's a guy that can go both ways. He can be a heel or a face. And right now, we're seeing a tweener, Braun Breaker. We're seeing him kind of face, kind of heel, and he's good at doing both of them. And the crowd's behind him, always barking. And I really love Braun Breaker, and he's had an excellent IC title run now on his second IC title run. And I think they put him into a decent amount of feuds. I think they've booked him with the IC title a lot better than they have booked the US title over on SmackDown. And he's going to go into a pretty big WrestleMania program with Penta, Dom, and Finn probably. I don't know if he'll retain, but I do think if he does lose the title at Mania, that they are going to insert him into the world title picture. And at such a young age, that is just so huge for Braun Breaker. So he's definitely my superstar of the year, or not superstar of the year, breakout superstar of the year.
Yeah, no, those are definitely some good picks. My breakout star of the year is Jacob Fatu. I think Jacob Fatu instantly, as soon as he appeared on the main roster, just screamed superstar. Just the things he does is incredible. The way he presents himself is just incredible. I think he's gonna main event a bunch of WrestleManias. I think he's gonna be champ eventually. He's just really good.
Yeah, 100% agree. He's an excellent talent. I could see him and Braun main eventing Amelia together as well, being so young. But yeah, any final thoughts?
No, I think that was a pretty fun one to do. I can't wait to see next year. Hopefully, we got a few of them were pretty easy, but most of them had a good variety of things to pick from. So that's always good to hear. Yeah. But yeah, that's all we have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this fun little video. Make sure to subscribe and like if you liked what you saw. Make sure to also check out the TikTok where we post clips